Hi everyone, I'm Jason Barrows with jerryjamesstone.com, and it's fall, and you know what that means. It's pumpkin spice latte season. Basic Beckies rejoice. It is time for the all wonderful pumpkin spice latte. In celebration of the pumpkin spice latte, we're going to be very basic today, and we're going to make pumpkin spice latte cupcakes. So it's going to be delicious, it's made with coffee, and it's basic, and I'm all about that. If you like cooking with coffee or baking, there's a great cookbook Jerry's got here, Made with Coffee. Check it out, and let's get baking. So first, we're going to start with a spice cake box mix. Like I said, we're keeping it basic. Nothing more basic than a box mix. So we're going to put that in our bowl. And then we're basically going to add all of our other ingredients, which includes eggs, pumpkin, brewed coffee that has been cooled, vegetable oil, cinnamon, and nutmeg. You can basically just throw that all in. There's no rhyme or reason. We're keeping it basic. So I'm putting in 3 eggs. We've got our cooled brewed coffee here. We've got our vegetable oil. We're going to add in our can of pumpkin puree. Please make sure this is pumpkin puree and not pumpkin pie mix. Very important. Pumpkin pie mix has spices and stuff already in it. We're adding those things, so we just don't want to mess up, the flavors of the cake. So this way we get to control all the flavors, and who knows what they put in the mix. And last but not least, we have our cinnamon and nutmeg. So we're going to take our whisk and just mix that all together until it's nice and smooth. Just make sure you break up the egg yolks. Again, no special techniques here. We're just going to whisk it until it's nice and uniform. If you're beating this by hand, you want to mix it for about 2 to 3 minutes. If you want to use a stand mixer, go right ahead, use your paddle attachment, and just want to make sure that it's just nice and smooth. All right, so our batter is mixed. This mix makes about 24 cupcakes. So I've got my cupcake tin lined with cupcake liners. And when I make cupcakes, I like to use an ice cream scoop. And the reason why I like to do that is because you can just portion them a little bit better. Each one is roughly about the same size, and then they bake at the same rate. If you make a small one and a big one, the small one's going to bake faster than the big one, so you'll have one overdone one and one underdone one. So if you use a portion scoop, that'll help you every time, and they'll all look uniform. So here we go. I'm just gonna do a slightly rounded scoop on these. All right, so we have our cupcakes portioned out. We're ready to put in our cupcakes into a preheated 350-degree oven for 18 to 20 minutes. You'll want to take a skewer or a toothpick when they're done. Just make sure it's most clean when you come out, and you should be done at that point. So here we go. All right, now it's time to make our frosting, the best part. So that has a couple of different components here. First, we're going to brew our coffee. I'm actually using some instant espresso here. I really just want that to get a really extra kick of coffee flavor. So I'm just gonna add my hot water to my instant espresso, let that sit for a few minutes, and just let that all kind of dissolve. So the second component is our chocolate, white chocolate, and we're going to melt that in the microwave with a little bit of heavy cream. You can melt chocolate on the stove on very low. I prefer to do it in the microwave. You just have to make really sure that you're only using about 15 to 20 seconds at a time, and check it. Chocolate, especially white chocolate, can seize very easily. So the last thing you want your chocolate to do is get too hot. So we're going to pour our cream over our chips, microwave that in 20-second intervals, mix it up, and wait till that's nice and smooth, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Alrighty, so now all of our components for the frosting are ready. We're going to beat our butter and the brewed coffee together first, for about a minute, just to make sure that's nice and incorporated. So a great tip, if your butter is too cold when you're beating it, and it's just not getting creamy, if you have a metal bowl or even a glass bowl, you can set your hand on the side of the bowl, and the heat from your hand will actually conduct heat into the bowl, and it will actually start to melt your butter a little bit faster, which is what I needed to do here. Some of the chunks weren't quite incorporating, so just your body heat alone will actually activate some warmth in there and actually help you get a little bit of a creamier consistency if your butter is a little too cold. So the next step is adding our chocolate into this mix. Now again, this chocolate has cooled for 5 or 10 minutes. You do not want this mixture hot as you add it to your butter. Temperature is really important here. So we're going to slowly incorporate this in while the mixer is running, just a slow steady stream just so we can incorporate it all together. So at this point I would recommend scraping down the sides of your bowl just to make sure that all of your ingredients mixed together. I do have some of the chocolate kind of clinging to the sides of the bowl here, so I'm just going to scrape that down. All right, now the last step is our powdered sugar and cinnamon. I've already mixed these two together, but we're going to, again, slowly incorporate the sugar into this mixture, again, just so it can have some time to work in and we're not just dumping it all at once. So we've finished beating our frosting for about 5 minutes. It's nice and thick. The taste of basic, it's delicious. So now we're going to load that into a piping bag and get that ready to go on top of our cupcakes. So now we're ready to load our piping bag. I have a disposable piping bag here. If you don't have one, it's not as good, but you can use a Ziploc bag. Just kind of cut the tip off, you know, load it in and you're good to go. These are pretty cheap. You can get them at any store and they're great because you can just throw them away when you're done. So the way I like to load a pastry bag is actually fold the plastic over your hand. So it's actually, there's a support system. So I am going to basically scoop and then use my pointer finger here as a scraping, like a hard surface, so I can just scrape that on into the bag. Just makes controlling it a lot easier and a lot less messy. So once you have your bag loaded, you pull this up here and you've got this nice clean edge and you gather it here, you twist it, make sure your tip's up so it's not going all over your workspace. Just continue to twist the bag until it starts to get kind of tight. Now you've got a closed end and you're ready to go. So I'm using a star tip. You can also use a round tip. Whatever tip you like, you can use that one. So please make sure that your cupcakes are completely cooled before you ice them. It is a temperature sensitive icing, so you just want to make sure that it's completely cooled. Definitely refrigerate these cupcakes after you ice them, and just be aware of the temperature, you know, if you're transporting them or the room you're serving them in, you know, all that stuff. So if you want to make these cupcakes a little more special, we can decorate them in a special basic way. We're going to make these look like pumpkin spice lattes. So I'm going to take some parchment paper here and we're going to fill up one of these cups. So we've put the parchment in the cup just so the parchment can support the cupcakes, so it's a nice dome top there. So we're just going to set these on top like that. You might have to adjust it a little bit, just, you know, push down if you can. There we go. Next we're going to top this with some pumpkin spice. And last, we've got some green straws. And there we have our cup full of basic. So thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this fun recipe. I know that I did. Let us know if you have any questions or comments, and we'll see you next time. So if you want to make these extra special and a little more basic, we can definitely